I was only 16 when my father looked me in the eye and said, "You're a burden to this family." That same night, my parents packed my clothes into 2 trash bags, handed me $50, and locked the door behind me. I stood on the sidewalk in the freezing Chicago winter with nowhere to go. What happened next changed my life forever. And 18 years later, the same parents who abandoned me showed up at my office begging for help. They had no idea who I had become. The story about my brother Michael. I grew up in a quiet, suffocating small town just outside Chicago. From as early as I can remember, our household revolved around one person. My parents absolutely adored my older brother, Ryan. To them, he was the ultimate golden child, the high school football star, the straight-A student, the boy who could do absolutely no wrong. He was everyone's favorite, basking in the spotlight, while I was left entirely in the shadows. I was different. I didn't care for the applause on the football field. Instead, I loved computers. I would spend countless, uninterrupted hours locked away, teaching myself how to code and building websites from scratch. But to my father, my passion was nothing but a joke. He constantly called it a useless waste of time. Every single family dinner ended with bitter criticism directed at me. Every small achievement I managed to accomplish was completely ignored. I was invisible in my own home. When I turned 16, the fragile peace in our house completely shattered. My dad lost his job, and the stress turned him into a bitter man. He started blaming me for everything that went wrong in his life. Then came that one fateful night. After a massive, explosive argument that shook the walls, his anger boiled over. He looked at me with pure hatred and screamed, "If you're so smart, go survive on your own." And just like that, with nothing but the clothes on my back, I was thrown out. I was homeless. For weeks, my life became a brutal game of survival. I slept in crowded, freezing shelters, sometimes on the hard metal benches of bus stations. There were days I willingly skipped meals, enduring the hunger just so I could save every single penny I had. But I refused to let my spirit break. Every single night, I would sit at the public library computers, studying advanced coding until closing time. I looked at my reflection in the dark screen and promised myself one thing. One day, I would prove them all wrong. Years slowly crawled by. I worked every grueling job imaginable just to keep my head above water. I was a janitor, sweeping floors, a warehouse worker, lifting heavy crates, a delivery driver, working late into the night. I did anything and everything just to survive. Then, at the age of 24, I took the biggest gamble of my life. I launched my own software startup. Predictably, nobody believed in it. Investors laughed, and critics told me to give up. But I kept going, month after painful month, year after exhausting year. I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into that code, until one ordinary day, everything changed forever. A massive, global tech conglomerate came knocking on my door. They didn't just want to partner with me, they wanted to buy my software completely. The final deal? A staggering $48 million. My life changed overnight. The boy who once starved in bus stations was suddenly a multimillionaire. I bought a beautiful home. I started a dedicated scholarship program, and I poured millions into helping homeless teenagers find their footing, ensuring they never had to suffer the way I did. But throughout all that success, I never contacted my parents. Not once. And they never reached out to me either. The silence between us lasted for 18 long years, until one quiet afternoon. My assistant walked into my private office, her face pale and looking completely confused. She hesitated before speaking. "Sir, there's an older couple down in the lobby asking for you. They claim to be your family." My heart dropped. I walked out of my office and into the lobby, and the moment I saw them, I froze entirely. It was my parents, but they weren't the formidable, angry figures I remembered from my childhood. They looked so much older, tired, broken down by life. The moment our eyes met, my mother burst into tears, burying her face in her hands. My father, the man who used to look down on me, couldn't even bring himself to look me in the eye. He stared fixedly at the floor. Then, the glass doors opened, and my brother Ryan walked in behind them. And that is the exact moment I learned the devastating truth. My parents had lost absolutely everything. A mountain of crushing medical debt, followed by a brutal foreclosure on their home, had forced them into total bankruptcy. And Ryan, the golden child, the boy they gave all their love to, had secretly stolen their very last remaining life savings and vanished into thin air, abandoning them when they needed him most. The lobby was dead silent. Finally, my father spoke. For the very first time in my life, I didn't hear anger or authority in his voice. I heard pure, trembling fear.
"So,"
he whispered, his voice cracking. "We need help." The room went completely still. In that heavy silence, a flood of memories rushed through my mind. I remembered every cruel insult, every freezing night on the streets, every bitter tear I shed alone, every single moment they chose to abandon a 16-year-old child. They stood there trembling, expecting my revenge. They expected me to laugh and throw them out, just like they did to me. Instead, I surprised them. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I stepped forward and quietly paid off every single dime of their debts. I bought them a safe, comfortable place to live, and I completely covered all of their ongoing medical bills. I didn't do it because they deserved it. I didn't do it to buy their love. I did it because I refused to become the cruel, heartless people they were all those years ago. I wanted to show them that their hatred couldn't corrupt my soul. Seeing my unconditional kindness, my father completely broke down, weeping openly in the middle of the room. The man who had never once apologized in his entire life, the man who had crushed my childhood dreams, finally looked at me and said the words I never thought I'd hear.
"I was wrong about you."
"I am so sorry." That day I learned something important. Success isn't proving people wrong. Success is becoming someone who no longer needs revenge. The people who abandoned me lost everything, but the boy they threw away built a life they never imagined. And that's something nobody can take away.